In stillness and color, art remembers what time forgets, the stories behind the masterpieces. Let's look at some of the masterpieces and the secret stories they hold behind them. Do you know the story behind The Lady of Shalott, the painting that captures both beauty and doom? Painted in 1888 by John William Waterhouse, it's inspired by Alfred Tennyson's poem about a cursed woman who could only view the world through a mirror. When she dares to look directly at Sir Lancelot, the mirror shatters, her curse begins. Waterhouse captures the moment she drifts down the river toward her death, her face serene, her fate sealed. Critics praised its beauty, but few saw its quiet rebellion. It was a reflection on the condition of women in Victorian society, trapped between desire and duty, longing and silence. Waterhouse painted her not as weak, but as brave, a woman who chose experience over confinement. Today, The Lady of Shalott hangs in the Tate Britain, shimmering with light and sadness, a masterpiece of poetry and paint, where love, art, and tragedy merge into one timeless image. Do you know the story behind The Starry Night, Vincent van Gogh's swirling vision of the night sky? He painted it in 1889, inside an asylum in Saint-Rémy-de-Provence, after one of his darkest breakdowns. Confined and fragile, he found solace in a small window that looked out over the countryside. But what he painted wasn't the world as it was the world as he felt it. The sky ripples and moves like living energy, stars spin like suns, and the heavens seem alive with motion. Critics once saw it as madness, but modern scientists discovered that Van Gogh captured the physics of turbulence, patterns identical to those found in galaxies and storms. He wrote to his brother, "Why, I ask myself, shouldn't the shining dots of the sky be accessible as the black dots on the map of France?" For Van Gogh, the stars weren't just light, they were destinations. He called the painting a failure, but the world saw something else, a man who turned pain into eternity. Today, The Starry Night glows in the Museum of Modern Art, its energy eternal, a reminder that even in madness, the universe speaks in color. Do you know the story behind Olympia, the painting that scandalized 19th century Paris? When Edouard Manet revealed it in 1865, critics erupted in outrage. A nude woman reclined on a bed, staring directly at the viewer. Not a goddess, not a myth, just a modern Parisian woman. Her name was Victorine Meurent, Manet's favorite model, and her direct gaze was what shocked society most. She looked confident, aware, and unapologetically human. The flowers, jewelry, and black cap beside her hinted that she was a courtesan, something polite Paris pretended didn't exist. The uproar was massive. Olympia was called vulgar, disgusting, and a disgrace to art. But in that defiance lay power. She became a symbol of realism, of women being seen as people, not ideals. Today, Olympia hangs in the Musée d'Orsay, and her stare still challenges everyone who meets it. A gaze that changed the way we see beauty, truth, and ourselves. Do you know the story behind the scream? The face that captured the world's anxiety? Painted by Edvard Munch in 1893, it wasn't meant to frighten us. It was Munch's own panic, his own terror turned into color. He described the moment in his diary. "I felt a scream pass through nature. I sensed an infinite cry piercing through the air." He was walking at sunset near Oslo when the sky turned blood red, later linked to volcanic dust from the Krakatoa eruption. He felt the earth tremble beneath him. And in that instant, he painted not what he saw, but what he felt. The painting's journey is as dramatic as its meaning. It was stolen twice, once in 1994 and again in 2004, recovered both times in cinematic police operations. Each time, its fame grew. Today, the scream hangs in Norway's National Museum, its trembling figure and red sky still echoing through time. A portrait not of a person, but of every human fear that can't be put into words. Do you know the story behind The Night Café, one of Van Gogh's most unsettling paintings? Created in 1888, it shows a small cafe in Alls, glowing red and green under the lamplight. Van Gogh said he wanted to paint the terrible passions of humanity. Unlike his starry skies or golden fields, this room feels suffocating. The colors clash violently, red walls, green floors, and shadows swallowing the corners. The people inside don't talk, they sit in silence, lost in thought. He called it ugly, but he meant it. He wanted us to feel discomfort, the quiet sadness that hides behind nightlife. Years later, critics realized he had captured the psychology of loneliness, before psychology was even a science. The painting mirrors Van Gogh's own isolation, a reflection of nights spent searching for meaning in empty rooms. Today, the Night Cafe hangs at Yale University, still glowing with the tension between beauty and despair, a portrait of what it means to be human when the night feels endless.